Good evening and welcome to tonight's Zoning Board of Appeals virtual meeting. Per Executive Order 202.28 by the Governor of the State of New York, the Town of Smithtown is required to continue hosting all public meetings, either in person, in which case we must prohibit physical public contact, while public meetings can be held remotely via conference call or similar services. Additionally, per the Executive Order, the town continues to live stream, record, and transcribe each meeting. As a reminder, for any resident wishing to view tonight's meeting, you can do so by clicking on the Agendas and Meeting button on the homepage of the town's website at www.smithtownnewyork.gov. You are all here tonight seeking relief from the Smithtown zoning ordinances, and it's our job to try to help you achieve the relief you're requesting whenever possible. It's up to you to provide this board with precise and accurate information so we can make a decision based on the facts presented. This board must consider the 5 area variance considerations in order to render a decision, and they are as follows. Number 1, whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the variance. Number 2, whether the benefits, whether the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. Number 3, whether the requested area variance is substantial. Number 4, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical and environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. And number 5, whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, which consideration shall be relevant to the decision of the board, but shall not necessarily preclude the granting of the variance. Procedures for tonight's meeting. Cases will be called in the order they are advertised. After your case is announced by Mr. Donadio, the moderator will connect you to the meeting so you can present your case to the board. Once you have completed your presentation, if anyone on the board or in the planning department has any questions, they will be asked. Then any interesting party who would like to speak on the case will be given one opportunity to do so. Then the applicant will be given the opportunity to respond to any questions and concerns, after which the case will be closed. Once the public hearing is closed, no further information will be accepted concerning the case. You can contact the planning department tomorrow after 12 p.m. for the status of your case.
Please.
Are they still coming on? We do have 2 adjournments. The first case to be adjourned tonight is case 18489, Anthony Donaldson. That is adjourned to May 27th. And the next case that's adjourned is case number 18461, VEA 181st Realty Corporation. And this is also referred to as the Loft at Maple and Main Street. This case has been adjourned to July 13th.
Already?
Already.
Okay. The first case on the agenda, case number 18485, Marcelo Garcia, 28 Eckerncamp Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property, the southeast corner of Eckerncamp Drive and Stengel Place. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting variances to decrease the minimum distance from any lot line from 2 feet to 0 for an existing roof over pool equipment. Decrease the minimum distance from any lot line from 8 feet to 2 feet for an existing 95 square foot pool house. Reduce the minimum side yard from 16 feet to 0. Increase the maximum height of an existing accessory structure from 15 feet to 28 feet. Increase the number of stories of an accessory structure from 1 to 2. reduce the minimum front yard from 50 feet to 46 feet, permit environmentally sensitive lands, slopes in excess of 15% to be altered for a begun prior 600 square foot detached garage. Reduce the minimum setback of a retaining wall from the property line from 5 feet to 0 for an existing 5-foot retaining wall.
Good evening. Could I have the applicant, please?
Good evening. My name is Dean Kutsubis. I am the expediter on behalf of Marcelo Garcia. Marcelo Garcia is also on this call.
Right. Did you submit all the necessary paperwork?
Yes, we did. I'm sorry, do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
All right. Before you start,
Yes.
Could you state your name again, spell your last name, and give your address, please, for the record?
Okay. My name is Dean Kutsubis. My spelling is Koutsooumbis. My address is 121 Newbridge Road, Hicksville, New York, 11801.
Okay, Dean.
All right. Good evening, members of the board. I spoke today with my client who is on this call, and he can speak as well. And I also spoke to Blaze of the planning board. We understand that the variances here requested are substantial in nature, and we'd like to request an adjournment so the client could have the opportunity to review, with architects and appropriate professionals, what possible changes, if anything, can be made to reduce the nature of these variances that we're requesting.
All right. Will May 25th give you enough time?
I would like, if I can get one more hearing after that, possibly the June one. I would prefer the June one.
Okay, June 8th?
June 8th should be, let me just confirm with Marcelo. Mr. Garcia, I don't know if you can hear me. Is June 8th acceptable?
Or we have the 22nd?
I don't know. I don't know if he can hear me or not.
I can,
Okay.
yes. Can you hear me, Dean?
Yes, we hear you. Did you hear they said they gave us a few options for
Yeah, June 22nd will work better than June 8th.
All right, June 22nd.
Yes.
All right. So case 18485 has been adjourned to June 22nd.
Okay, thank you all.
All right, thank
Thank you.
you.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Bye.
By the time June 22nd comes, I'm gonna finish.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18486, Vincent Franzone, 8 Wenmore Road, Comac. The location of the property is the northwest corner of Wenmore Road and Somerset Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 24 feet for a proposed 335 square foot second floor rear addition with a 335 square foot covered patio below.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board. Mary Ellen Curtis, CURTIS, 22 North Creek Road, Northport, New York. I am here on behalf of Mr. and Mrs. Vincent Falzone, whose house is located on the northwest corner of Wenmore Road and Somerset Drive, also known as 8 Wenmore Road, Comac.
Okay, Mary, did you submit all the necessary paperwork?
I did, and I'm sorry that I can't see you. I tried on 2 different devices and I got kicked off of both. So I apologize for the fact that I can't see you.
Okay, but we can hear you, so that's all that matters.
Okay,
And as long as you can hear us, that's a good thing.
I can.
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, I just want to let you know that the applicant does need to introduce themselves. We have no power of attorney.
Oh, so the paperwork wasn't.
Well, I'm
Yes.
assuming the
Mr.
applicant is
Yes, hey,
Mr.
Marcel.
I just speak one at a time,
All right.
please.
All right, can I have the applicant then?
Yes, hi, this is Vincent Franzone.
Hello, Vincent. Could you just state your address for the record, please?
8 Wenmore Road in Comac.
Okay, and would you like Mary to speak on your behalf?
Yes, please.
Okay, fine, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mary.
The property is located in an R10 zone. Chapter 322-9B of the Town of Smithtown Code requires a 2 side yard combination to be 28 feet. We come before the board asking for 24 feet combined side yard, holding a minimum side yard on both sides of 12 feet in order to add a family room with a fireplace to the second story. The part of the addition that encroaches is a right triangle piece that is 3 foot by 9 foot, by 6 foot 9 by 7 foot 4 for a total of 10 square feet in the rear of the dwelling on the south side. In addition to the family room, they will also be adding a second story 8 by 8 rear deck and doing some interior alterations on both the first and second story that do not require a variance. Due to the triangular shape of the lot, the building envelope is decreased quite a bit, which creates a hardship. Mr. and Mrs. Franzone did not realize at the time of purchase that the lot shape would have an effect on expanding their home. The request is within the character of the neighborhood. They have owned their home since 2012. They love where they live. They both grew up in the area. They have 2 beautiful little girls who love their school and their friends, and they would prefer not to move. So therefore, they are asking for relief for a side yard setback. It is their hope that the board will grant this variances. And are there any questions from the board?
I will ask. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No,
No, thank you.
no, thank you.
Planning? Blaze?
Apologies, Mr. Chairman, I had to go do something. No comments, thank you.
Okay, fine, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Chairman, I do not have anyone with their hands raised or in the chat. I will just remind the audience to please utilize either the chat function or the raise hand function if you wish to be heard. Thank you.
Okay, with that said, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made, it's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank
and
you
good
very
night.
much.
You're
Thank
quite
you. Have a
welcome.
good evening.
You too.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
the next applicant is case number 18487. I do not have an individual with the name Michael or the last name here. It could be somebody on the phone or somebody with an iPad that hasn't identified themselves yet or changed the name of their computer.
There was a power of attorney submitted on this one.
Yes,
It's Scott Wexler. I'm here for the
Thank you, Scott.
client.
Okay,
Okay,
great. Disregard then.
okay, good. Okay, Blaze, you want to read it?
sure. The next case is 18487. I believe the name is Michael Scicciarini, 141 Montclair Avenue, St. James. The location of the property is the northeast corner of Montclair Avenue and Rutherford Street. The property is owned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the front yard on Rutherford Street from 25 feet to 6 feet for a proposed 16-foot by 28-foot in-ground swimming pool and pool equipment. To reduce the front yard setback on Rutherford Street from 10 feet to 0 for an existing 6-foot stockade fence. To reduce the minimum rear yard from 35 feet to 26 feet for an existing 247 square foot second story rear deck. To reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 2 feet for an existing 46 square foot shed.
Okay, Could I have the applicant's representative?
Scott Wexler, Wechsler, 16 Weatherstone Way in Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Thank you,
Swim
Scott.
King Pools.
I'm sorry.
I'm with Swim King as well.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Scott.
Okay, so we're trying to legalize a wood second-story deck that was existing when these clients purchased the home, and is in regards to the fence, which we would need to put up if we get approval to put the swimming pool here, which this is the only place the pool could fit, because opposite of this pool, we found out through the search, there actually was a filled-in swimming pool on the opposite side of the property before the clients purchased the home, and also legalize existing PVC shed.
Okay. Mr. Donadio and I were there the other day looking at the property, and the fence poses no visual impact on any vehicles, coming down that block. So that's a good thing. Is there anyone on the board that has any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Picture Amy.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18488, Wolf Family LLC, 160 Commerce Drive, Hop Hog. The location of the property, the north side of Commerce Drive, 741 feet west of Adams Avenue. The property is zoned LI. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum parking setback from the front property line from 50 feet to 25 feet for 8 proposed parking spaces.
Can I have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. Garrett Gray, Weber Law Group, 290 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York, for the applicant.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. This is Contract Pharmacal again. We've got about 11 buildings in the industrial park now and about 1,500 employees. So everything's doing well as far as business is concerned. This board previously granted a variance for front yard parking from 50 feet to 11 feet. We had originally designed this where the parking was perpendicular to where it is now, to where it's shown on this plan. It was on the opposite side of the entrance to the building. And that ran 11 feet and there was no screening. We needed more parking, not so much because of we have enough parking for the number of employees, etc. The problem is we have 3 shifts running, and during the hour overlap where new employees are coming in before the employees that are done are leaving, there is a lot of scrambling around and trying to find spaces. This will help in that situation. Instead of 11 feet, we're only seeking 25 feet. Our original plan was to go all the way across the front of Commerce Drive. We had met with Blaze and with Liam. They weren't that thrilled with that idea. So what we did was, actually, I can't take credit for this plan because it was designed by Liam as far as just going part of the way. And that will help alleviate the problem. We're also utilizing the services of a minibus where employees can park at other Contract Pharmacal locations and get bused to this one. But this will help with alleviating the problem. And as I said, it's actually a better solution than the variance previously granted by this board, and it's much less, 11 feet, as compared to the 25 feet we're seeking now. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thanks.
Thank you. Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Chairman, no, there's nobody here.
No? All right. With that said, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Anybody want to vote?
Not right now.
I just thought I'd throw it out there. Thanks
Thank you very much.
Have a good evening.
You too now. Blaze, before we start, I just want to make an announcement again for those people who logged in a little late. We do have 2 adjournments. The next case is case 18489, Anthony Donaldson. That has been adjourned to May 22nd. And the other adjournment is case 18461, VEA 181st Realty Corporation. And some people might refer to it as the Loft at Maple and Main Street. That has been adjourned to July 13th.
Righty.
Okay, Blaze.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18490, Brooke De Silva, 99 Oakside Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property, the west side of Oakside Drive, 229 feet north of Meadow Road. The property is zoned R43. The applicant is requesting variances to increase the number of stories from 1 to 2, increase the maximum height from 15 feet to 23 feet, for a proposed 1,940 square foot detached front entry garage.
Could I have the applicant, please?
Hi, my name is Brooke De Silva, DASILVA, and I reside at 99 Oakside Drive, Smithtown, New York, and I'm going to have Pong Moy speak on my behalf.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
So it's Pong Moy, Pong, last name Moy, and
P-O-N as in Mary or M?
Oh, N as in Nancy. G, last name is Moy, M-U-I, from Mancini Moy Architecture. Do you guys see us? I think we lost. Okay, there we go. From Mancini Moy Architecture, 222 Middle Country Road, Suite 314, Smithtown, New York, 11787.
Okay, thank you.
So we're looking to build a 6-car garage on this piece of property. I'm sure you guys have gone out and took a look at the property. They currently have a lot of, it's a 2-acre parcel, and they currently have a lot of equipment to maintain that piece of property, as well as their personal cars. The existing house does not have a garage in it currently, so that's why we're proposing a 6-car garage. The variance that we're looking for is the height variance. One of them is the height variance. The second variance is from a 1-story garage to a 2-story garage. They kind of go hand in hand. The height variance is pretty much due to the fact that the garage footprint is for 6 cars. So the way we're designing it is we're actually getting wood trusses made up to span that distance without having any columns inside the garage. And because of the depth of the garage, if we kept it roughly, the pitch of the roof right now is 8 on 10. I mean 6 on 10 front to back, to give it a nice look. If we go any less than that, I'll actually pull it down probably to like a 4 on 10, and at that point, it's gonna look like a flat roof. It's gonna look horrible. So because there is so much headroom up there, the owner would like to just put some kind of put a space in the middle there so that they could just store Christmas ornament, Christmas stuff, and store whatever miscellaneous material. Since we have the headroom up there, we're just going to design the trusses with that space above. So that's why they're saying that it's increasing the storage from 1 to 2.
I'm sorry, it's increasing.
Increasing what? Hello?
I lost you after you said increasing.
Increasing storage from 1 to 2. Was that what you're referring to?
I think.
So we don't, well, I'll just go down the list. It says the variance would not produce an impact on the adjacent properties in the neighborhoods because the variance will allow for the proper storage of equipment and equals the land of the property.
The variance will allow?
The variance would not produce an impact on the adjacent properties because the variance would allow for the proper storage of equipment and vehicles to maintain the land of this property. The second one, we don't think it's substantial because the garage stores equipment and vehicles that are normally visible to the adjacent properties and neighborhoods. So that instead of parking it in the driveway, everything will go in the garage and keep everything nice and neat. The garages really can't be achieved by an alternate because there's really nowhere else to store all those cars and tractors and stuff without keeping them inside the garage. It would really cause an adverse impact to the environment because it's currently improved already. It's just a driveway and flat land. We're not taking down any trees to achieve that. And then the difficulty was not created by the applicant because the existing house right now has no garage, no way to store any vehicles or anything.
Who is Chris's? I'm sorry. Who is Chris's iPhone? They keep interrupting.
I don't know.
Yeah, I keep hitting the mute button, but I think they keep unpressing it.
Okay. Well, after the difficulty was not created by the applicant, the existing house has no garage, nowhere to store any vehicles or anything. I got cut off.
That's pretty much all I said.
Okay.
All right. There's no car lifts in the garage, right? Everything, all the cars are going to be on ground level.
All the cars are going to be on the ground.
So you need the height for aesthetics and storage.
Well, they wanted the height a little bit because they actually are thinking about buying a boat. So they were actually thinking of pulling the boat inside the garage. That's why the garage doors are extra tall.
Okay. Does anyone else on the board have any questions on this application?
Thank you. Oh, thanks.
Planning?
Just a comment and a question for Pong. The comment being that, to my knowledge, I do not believe the board has approved a detached garage to a height of 23 feet. And the question for Pong is, in the event that the board does not consider to grant you that height variance, do you have an alternate where you can lower the height of the roof where it would be more in compliance, or that the request for the variance would be not as substantial?
It's actually going to be pretty difficult because I actually don't have that much property on the side. The only way I would be able to do it is I have to shorten up the garage. You see the 38.25 feet. I'd have to shorten it up in that direction because my trusses would have to, I have to keep it 6 on 12, but I don't think it's going to lower it that much. I have to do the math. It might lower it down a little bit, but it's not going to lower it by that much. It's really that depth. It's a 6-car garage. I can't go 6-car garage left and right there because I wouldn't be able to fit 6 cars. So with a 6 on 12 pitch, that's really, unless I lower the pitch, but then if I lower the pitch, it's going to look horrible. It's going to look like a commercial structure at that point. So we're just trying to dress it up, put the pitch going front to back and put the low gables on the front. That way it looks nice aesthetically. If we flatten that out, it's not gonna look right.
Okay. Only because the garage at 23 feet is taller than the house. So that could be another
Yes.
issue as well.
Actually, we will be doing a whole renovation to the house soon. That's part of phase 2. They want to get this garage done so they could get all the equipment off the driveway first. And then we are actually going to be submitting an application to redo the whole facade of the house and do back.
By that, you mean adding on a second story?
No, but it's going to have very similar aesthetic to this.
Is there, I'm just offering this as a suggestion. Was there any talk about actually attaching the garage to the house?
We did kind of discuss it, but the way the existing house is right now, all the public spaces for the house is on the right in that L. I don't know if you can pull up the survey. Yeah, you see that right side where it backs up to the in-ground pool. So all the den, the kitchen, the dining room, the living room is all on that right side. Attaching it, it will be attached to all the bedrooms. So even if you attached it, like you'd have to go through the bedrooms to get to the rest of the house, and it's not really. I'd rather have the door go outside, like in the back corner of the thing, so that they could go towards the public side of the house instead of going through the bedrooms.
Okay. All right, thanks.
There's not enough room on the other side of the property for me to put that garage.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
Can I have a motion to close this application, please?
So moved.
Second. We'll go for now.
Motion is that somebody want to speak or? No, it's for the last case. No.
No, I think they're having trouble with their phone.
Okay.
They're not speaking until case number 18478.
Okay. Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18491, Christopher Ring, 142 Cambon Avenue, St. James. The location of the property is the west side of Cambon Avenue, approximately 2,318 feet north of Middle Country Road. The property is zoned R21. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard from 16 feet to 8 feet, total side yards from 34 feet to 26 feet for a proposed 476 square foot cabana with attached 508 square foot portico.
Can I have the applicant, please?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, my name is Christopher Ring, 142 Cambon Avenue, St. James, New York, and I would like Michael Morbillo, Inspire Design Group, to represent me this evening.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Michael, can you state your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the record, please?
Certainly. My name is Michael Morbillo, Morbillo. My company is Inspire Design Group. My office is at 273 Lake Avenue, St. James, New York.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. The application before you this evening is for a detached accessory structure. The call of the meeting listed as a 476 square foot cabana with an attached 508 square foot portico. The portico is a little bit of a wraparound structure in nature, as you can see. There's a small covering to the side and in front of the structure. I'd like to discuss the placement of this accessory structure in the yard. The purpose of the structure is it's a pool cabana, and they want to have it in close proximity to the pool. And they also intend to have like a little outdoor sort of kitchen covered area, which is between the cabana and the house. And so they like to have this structure in closer proximity to the house. As you're probably familiar with the homes along Cambon Avenue, the lots are extremely deep. This lot is about 315 feet. It's 0.72 acres. So it's greater than the 0.5 acres, which is required, which, typically a lot at 0.5 acres would be 100 by 200. We have a deeper lot. When you have an accessory structure, the requirement is to place that structure when it meets accessory structure setbacks of 8 feet within the last 75 feet of the property. That is a bit of a hardship due to the placement of the pool. And we did consider other locations for this structure, but due to the location of the existing pool, we wanted to place it adjacent. Another alternative would have been to place the structure in back of the pool. However, they have an open yard. They have children that play in the yard, and that would block their visual access to the remainder of the yard. Some of the things that we've done to sort of mitigate the placement of this accessory structure closer to the house is we've limited the height to that of an accessory structure, which is just under 15 feet. And we've also minimized the area to be more in keeping with your typical accessory structure that you might find in that last 75 feet of the yard. As far as requests go, the total side yard request from 34 feet to 26 represents about a 23.5-foot reduction in the total side yard requirement. I might add that reduction comes about because it's measured, related to this accessory structure, and there's also another accessory structure, which is the front porch, which is about 18 feet off of the side property line. So we have two accessory structures kind of creating this request. Also, the reduction of the 16 feet to 8 feet, which on the surface may appear substantial, I think is really mitigated. But it's really mitigated by the size that it is an accessory structure. It has that quality or the character. If not for the fact that we have a very deep parcel, if this was in a standard size lot, not a deep lot, this would be a conforming structure. It's in sort of the back third of the acre portion, the half acre portion of the property. Certainly this, structure does meet the character of other accessory structures that are in the neighborhood. It's certainly smaller or lower than many garages. It's not going to have an environmental impact on the area. And although the request is somewhat self-created because of the placement of the pool, we don't think that should be a factor in not having this application work. So if the board has any questions at this time, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
All right, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18492, Dan O'Donnell, 38 Bayer Drive, Smithtown. The location of the property, the east side of Baylor Drive, 580 feet south of Dartmouth Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 feet to 33 feet for a proposed 94 square foot porch.
Can I have the applicant, please?
I'm
Go ahead.
To represent the applicant.
All right, did you submit all the paperwork?
I did. My name is Steve Keller. I'm the architect for the project, and my clients are supposed to be online joining us.
Did you submit a power of attorney?
No.
On here. Can you hear us now, Steve?
Yes, okay.
Okay, sorry, we're on here. I wasn't sure what, I hit the wrong button.
Is this the applicant?
Yes, this is, my name is Margaret O'Donnell. I'm here with my husband, Daniel.
Okay, and you would like this gentleman to speak on your behalf?
Yes, Steve Keller will speak on our behalf.
Okay, fine, thank you. Steve, could you state your name, spell your last name so we get it correct for the record, and give your address, please?
Sure. It's Stephen Keller, Keller. Office address is 17 Keeler Street, Huntington, New York. And I'm the architect for this project.
Okay.
Okay. Good evening, Chairman and board members. We're proposing a small roofed over front porch. It is basically as represented in the drawing submitted to the BZA. And we feel that it's there's going to be no undesirable effects on the neighborhood. And I guess there's no other way to put a front porch on the front of a house as opposed to, just attaching it there. We looked at the zoning code. We were allowed to do basically a 6x6 portico on the front of the house. The client's is here in front of the board this evening to see if we could be granted a little additional space so that they could put 2 chairs on the front porch so they can sit outside and enjoy the scenery. So it's not substantial in nature. You can see by the size of the front porch in relationship to the rest of the house. It's easily under 50% of the front of the house. No adverse effect to the neighborhood as mentioned earlier. No other way to achieve a front porch other than placing it on the front of the house. And I guess the last one, is it self-created? Yes. We tried to be respectful of what was allowed, but we are here asking for relief for a little additional square footage so that they can place 2 chairs on the front porch and enjoy the neighborhood. If the board has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone in the board have any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
Do you have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18493, Susan Schwartz, 15 Green Drive, Comac. The location of the property, the east side of Green Drive, 398 feet north of Genesee Drive. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 9 feet, to reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 22 feet, for proposed 161 square foot first floor addition and 247 square foot second floor addition, addition to a first floor addition to an attached garage.
Okay, can I have the applicant, please?
Yes, hi, I'm Susan Schwartz.
Good evening. Are you going to present your case?
I would like Steve Shibley to present. Steve Shibley to present my case, please.
Is he
He's
there?
also on. He's on.
I'm here.
Okay, Steve, can you state your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the record, please?
Yes, Stephen Shibley, Scheibly. My company is Diversified Design Associates. Our address is 255 Main Street, Huntington, New York.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
We are here this evening asking for permission to add a second car to our existing one-car garage and to extend the family room, which is presently located behind the one-car garage, to extend back beyond the proposed second car garage. We're looking to reduce our side yard from the required 12 to 9. That is the tightest we feel we can make the garage to be able to get the car in safely. And by doing that, that causes us to request an aggregate from 28 to 22 feet. Because of the location of the existing garage, this is the location where the proposed garage has to go. And we feel that this two-car garage is in keeping with the character of the neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thanks. Thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
No. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 18495, Keith Pace, trustee for the revocable trust of Richard Pace, 17 Stephen Place, Smithtown. The location of the property, the northeast corner of Stephen Place and Bow Drive East. The property is zoned R15. The applicant is requesting a variance to permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered where depth to groundwater is equal to or less than 10 feet for an existing 57 square foot first floor addition.
Can I have the applicant, please?
Yes, hi. Keith Pace, 17 Stephen Place, Smithtown, New York. And I would like Michael Morbillo of Inspired Design to represent me.
Okay, fine. Thank you. Again, Michael, can you just state your name and address for the record, please?
Sure. Michael Morbillo, last name spelled Morbillo. My firm is Inspired Design Group. My office is located at 273 Lake Avenue, St. James, New York. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, basically the case before you is for some built prior structures or built prior addition and garage conversion and a porch conversion. Except for the fact that we're over high groundwater, all the structures conform to the area requirements. They've been in place for some close to 30 years and will have had no impact on the environment and have not changed the character of the neighborhood. So if the board has any questions at this time, I would be more than happy to answer them.
Fine, I will ask. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
That's all right.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application?
Chairman, I just want to confirm that Chris Mulady is waiting. He has his hand up now, but is still waiting to be, he's waiting to speak for application 18478. But no, to answer your question, there's nobody else wishing to be heard.
Yeah, that'll be
two more.
Two more. Okay, with that said, can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good evening.
Thank you.
The next case on the agenda, case number 18496, Michael and Kathleen Stack, 72 Claremont Avenue, St. James. The location of the property, the south side of Claremont Avenue, 99 feet east of Pierpont Street. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting a variance to reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 6 feet for a proposed 16-foot by 34-foot in-ground swimming pool.
Can I have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. My name is Michael Stack of 72 Claremont Avenue, St. James, New York, 11780.
Okay, Michael. Like to tell us why you're here tonight?
Yep, we're just looking to reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 6 feet, and it will not affect our neighbors. We need a variance from 12 feet to 6 feet.
Okay, fine. Anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
No, thanks.
Thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience like to be heard on this application?
No, Chairman.
Can I have a motion to close this application, please?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Good night now.
Good night.
Bye. Do you feel better?
The next case on the agenda, case number 18478, Meadow Glen Estates LLC, 60 and 62 Meadow Glen Road in Fort Salonga. The location of the property is the west side of Meadow Glen Road, 267 feet north of Yellow Brick Road. The property is zoned R43. The applicant is requesting a variance to alter environmentally sensitive land, slopes greater than 15%, on lot numbers 1, 3, and 4 within the subdivision known as Meadow Glen Estates.
All right, before we start, I'd just like to go over the procedures. Again, the applicant will present their case concerning this application. Anyone on the board or in planning that has any questions, they'll be asked at that time. After that, we will open it up to the public. Everyone will be given one opportunity to state their objections to this application, or if they're in favor of the application, they can state that also. Once everyone is done, we'll bring back the applicant to answer your questions or concerns. Once that's done, the application will be closed and no further information will be accepted concerning the case. All right? So
Mr.
with that
Chairman,
said,
if I may interrupt quickly.
Yes.
Just remind the public, if you wish to be heard, to either utilize the chat function or the raise your hand function. I'll call your name in the order it was received. Thank you.
all right. And we're trying to get everything on the record, so just one person speaks at a time. That would be greatly appreciated. Okay, thank you. Can we have the applicant, please?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Vincent Tremarco. I represent the applicant. We've submitted affidavits of posting and mailing pursuant to your regulations to the planning department this afternoon. As the board well knows, this is an application for a variance with respect to environmentally sensitive land. And as it happens, the Smithtown ordinance and the, first of all, let me start with the planning department through Matthew Colato made a recommendation to the planning board that the planning board send a request to your board for a favorable decision on solely the environmentally sensitive land and the fact that we are doing a subdivision where parts of the properties are basically hilly. So with that said, the planning board did send that recommendation to your board requesting that the application be approved solely with respect to environmentally sensitive land. Now, as you can see from the map projected there, this is probably one of the least intensive subdivisions in Fort Salonga. As shown, Sally's Path and Yellow Brick Road are cul-de-sacs that basically dead end into our property. At the dead end of both Sally's and Yellow Brick Road, we propose to come in basically with two driveways, which would connect to the 4 lots that you see on either side of the cul-de-sacs without a road going through. So there is no access through the property. It will remain basically the way it's been for many, many years, other than the fact that these almost 7 acres will be now subdivided into 6 building parcels. Again, environmentally sensitive land is an ordinance that we have in the town of Smithtown. It's 50% slopes. And if you look at the map prepared by Lisa McQuilkin, every lot has area of more than the required 1 acre. It's just that when you take out environmentally sensitive land, slopes, hills, a few of the lots are less than 1 acre. Not in real area, only in area that must be taken out pursuant to the ordinance. So for example, the smallest lot is 39,038.38 square feet, but it's really much larger than that. The only reason why we're doing it the way we're doing it, again, is because of the ordinance. So if you look at each lot, the actual square footage, I think the smallest lot with actual square footage is
Mr. Tramarko, we can't hear you.
the actual lot with the smallest square footage is 48,000 square feet, and it goes up from there. So we feel that this will not be an adverse effect on the character of the area or adjacent property. It's in conformity with the adjacent property and the 1 acre zoning. Adjacent property is hilly, just like our proposed subdivision. Is the request substantial? It's not substantial at all. As I said before, it's probably the least affected subdivision that's been proposed in Fort Salonga in a long time, because we have no through roads. There is the existing road and then the 2 dead ends that will make up the 6 lots. Can the benefit be achieved by any alternative? Well, I guess we could put a road through the middle from Yellow Brick Road to Sally's Path, and but I don't know what benefit it would be to the community, nor a benefit to the proposed future homeowners. So we feel this is the best alternative. Would it have an adverse effect on the environment? No more adverse effect on the environment than already exists by the existing houses in the area. We more than conform to the health department requirements. We meet all health department requirements with respect to this application. Actually, we're double the land, more than double the land area for sanitary flow. Was the difficulty created by the applicant? I guess the difficulty obviously is created by the terrain, and the terrain was made many thousands of years ago. And again, all of the houses in the area are on hilly properties, and that's part of the beauty of Fort Salonga. And again, as I said, we're not building a road through the property. So it's the least intrusive way to handle this subdivision, and at the same time build the required allowable maximum houses, which are each more than 1 acre. At the planning board meeting, before it was sent to your board, there was some concern by one of the neighbors that I believe he indicated that there was a pond on one of the areas of the property, and that that pond was filled in and so forth. Well, as best as we can determine, that was it's true, there was a small pond there, and I checked with planning. There appears to be there was a pond at one time of approximately a small, not even 16 by 32 swimming pool. So in comparison, it was about the size of a small swimming pool. And apparently many years ago, it was abandoned and filled in. If one walks the property, I dare say it's very difficult to even find where it is. So given the facts of the application and the subdivision, the way we have drawn it and presented it, and also the request to your board, which is only to allow a subdivision, which some parts of it are hilly. The rest of the subdivision and the approval of same would still be in the hands of the planning board. And I just want to be clear about that. The planning board still has to approve the map and the location of the entrances to the various lots. So with that, we ask the board for its favorable consideration. And if the board has any questions, I'll be here to answer them. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anyone on the board have any questions on this application?
I have a question for Mr. Tramarko. If you said it, I apologize, I missed it, but I want to make sure the areas that we're talking about for ESL, is that just the areas that are highlighted in yellow?
Let me see, I guess so, mine are in gray, so. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Does anyone else on the board have any questions?
No, thank you.
No, thank
Planning? Planning?
Hang on, sorry, I had myself muted. Just to clarify about the areas of environmentally sensitive land, I know it's very hard to see on the screen. However, there are 2 areas that are shaded One is actually highlighted in yellow, and the others are highlighted in like a light gray on the map. Those are all of the areas that are identified as steep slopes. So I just wanted to make that clear. The second thing I wanted to do, Mr. Tremarco had mentioned that the planning board had made a recommendation to the Board of Zoning Appeals approving the variances for the environmentally sensitive land. I just wanted to read it onto the record what they wrote to the board. Resolved that the planning board hereby recommends that the Board of Zoning Appeals approve the variances associated with the subdivision known as number 1189, map of Meadow Glen Estates, for the following reasons. Number one, the alteration of steep slopes appear minimal in nature and are only for the proposed driveways for lot numbers 1, 3, and 4. It is not anticipated that this will create any danger to the neighboring properties or the public health, safety, and welfare. And number two, the applicant submitted a yield plan demonstrating that they could avoid disturbing the slopes by extending a yellow brick road cul-de-sac. However, this option disturbs more land, removes more trees, and increases impervious surfaces compared to the proposed design. That's it.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Yes, Chairman, I'm going to send Chris Milady a request to unmute himself. He was first to speak.
Okay.
Give him a second to hit the unmute button. There you go, we can hear you.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, Chris.
Chris Milady at 6 Yellow Brick Road.
Okay, one second before you start, Chris. I'm going to ask everybody, state your name, spell your last name so we get it correct for the record, and give your address, please.
Sure. Chris
All right, go ahead.
Milady. Chris Milady, M-U-L-L-A-D-Y. I'm at 6 Yellow Brick Road. And the only comment I want to make is by adding more houses into the cul-de-sac of Yellow Brick Road, we're pretty full to capacity.
Yeah, this bitch.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead, go ahead, Chris. Somebody hit the unmute button. Go ahead.
I'm just saying we're pretty full to capacity as far as families down this dual cul-de-sac, along with, you know, husbands, wives, children driving cars. To add 2 more families and 4 more drivers and possible young drivers in a cul-de-sac that has no way out other than one, which will be up and down my main road of, you know, exiting Yellow Brick Road. I just feel that we're going to be oversaturated with people. So that's the only comment that I would want to make. That I just feel that there's going to be quite a bit of additional traffic and overflow of people on the road. And that's all I'd like to say. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much. Who's next?
Okay, next I have Kathy Cooper. I believe she's unmuted. Go ahead, Kathy.
Hi, yes, I live on the corner of 85 Meadow Glen Road. I'm on the corner of Huff's Path.
Kathy, before you start, could you state your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the record, please?
Sure, it's Kathleen Flanagan Cooper. I'm at 85 Meadow Glen Road. You ready?
Yes, we are.
Okay. All right. That's a very busy intersection that I live on already. The nature that is behind Yellowbrook and Sally should stay the way it is. We've had enough construction in our area in the last 10 years that's been very disruptive to everyone. We've already had Rolling Meadows put up, and we've had some other houses put up. And what I disagree with the most is we're in the acre zoning. So this is unethical to even bring this up as 6 homes. And also the nature back there, it includes, we're very lucky to have some interesting animals in our area. We have deer, we have fox, We have opossums, we have flying squirrels, we have tree frogs, and they live in those 200-year-old trees back there that they're looking to destroy. Also, my neighbors paid a lot more than I did to live in this neighborhood, to live on cul-de-sacs. So for you to just think that you could disrupt.
Hello, Kathy, you still there?
I think you cut out, Kathy. Hello? Now we can, nope.
Kathy?
Hello?
Is
This
that
the court,
Kathy?
no, this is the court reporter. I guess
I
we
know.
lost her.
Oh, you lost me?
Yes, there you are.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, which part did you lose when I said about my neighbors paid extra to be on the cul-de-sac?
For you to just think you can disrupt and then you cut out.
Okay. For you to think that you could just disrupt this area with these 6 homes that are not even on acres, when we're all in the acre zoning, paying high taxes to live here on acre zonings to be with the nature, it's unethical. So, I believe that you should straighten out that house you got on your property to start with. That would be a great idea. But I know that's not going to make you money. But I'm not here, our residents, we're not here to see you make a bunch of money and then, take our nature away. We pay high taxes to have that nature, and you're not being a very good neighbor by throwing up 6 houses on less than acre properties, because that's, as I said, we're acre zoning here. So I don't know how the board can even, look at even approving something like this. It's unethical to me. And as I said, I live on the corner of Meadow Glen and Josephine, and I put those stop signs there because of all the extra traffic. So I really don't want to see another 6 homes go up. So I oppose this idea. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, Kathy. Who's next?
Next, I have Ricardo Rodriguez. Gonna ask him to unmute himself. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Oh God, we can hear you.
Hang on a second. I'm on. Yeah, but I'm on mute. Hang on. Hang on 1 second. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Ricardo. State your name, spell your last name, and give your address for the record, please.
Okay. So my name is Ricardo Rodriguez. I live in 8 Sally's Path, Fort Salonga. I'm one of the residents that's being affected by the cul-de-sac. I was reading out the paperwork, and it talked about alteration of steep slopes appear minimum in nature and are only for the purpose of driveways, right? It's not anticipated that this will create any danger to neighborhood properties or public health, safety, or welfare. Before I moved into Fort Salonga, I've never really saw anybody hit a deer. Since I've been here for less than 3 years, I've seen at least 7 deer accidents. Now, I don't know if it just happens to be that Fort Salonga is where the deer capital lives, but I know that removing land that's for animals and putting houses there is going to saturate the area with more animals. So if you really look at the history of Fort Salonga, you will see at least 1 or 2 deers every year, hit by a car every year. And if we take the land, where are they going to go? I just think that variance or this area, that it won't create, it won't disrupt public health or safety. I just think it's wrong. That's my comment. My wife also wants to say a comment.
Okay.
Hi, this is Sherry Stern.
Could you just state your name, please, and spell your last name for the record?
Yes, Sherry Stern, Stern. As Ricardo said, I'm his wife. I just want to add to what he was saying, that the displacement of the animals by building on that land is going to create more human and animal interactions. Our roads are already busy, as Kathy had said. They're windy, they're hilly, people drive fast on them. Those deer and the animals that live there now are going to be pushed onto the roads, and it's going to make it even more dangerous for us to drive and walk down those streets. So even though it may not pose a clear safety risk to the residents here, it by default is increasing the risk of accidents. So I do think there is a safety concern there. And then I'd also like to state the fact that those trees, as Kathy said, also are 200 years old, and they are key to the environment that we're living in. We moved here to this neighborhood, most of us, for the property, for the nature, the environment that we're living in, for the quiet environment. And all of that is so important to us. If you're going to change that and build on this land, you're going to change the feel of our neighborhood. It also sets precedent for other people to come in and want to develop on the other land that may be historical, that have been there for years. And I just fully oppose this idea.
All right, thank you, Sherry. Who's next?
Okay, next I'm gonna call on Donna Amoroso. I'm gonna ask her to unmute herself. Also, I know there's some people on the phones. If you're on a phone and you do want to raise your hand or speak, you can press *9. Donna, go ahead.
Hi, this is Peter Amoruso and Donna Amoruso. We're at 4 Sally's Path. We live in a home that directly abuts lot number 1. And
Excuse me, can you just spell your last name, please, so we get it correct for the record?
Sure, Amoruso.
Thank you, Peter.
So my concern is the same as all my neighbors. I've been here for 17 years, and I'm very concerned with where my home is and where lot number 1's home is. And the flooding concerns, because there is a slope right next to me. That's one of those shaded areas. And my concern is that disrupting the slope might have a negative effect on my property from either water flow or disruption of my whole yard, to the point where I don't see sense in where some of these homes are placed. And off of Yellowbrook, there's another home there where the home is closer to an existing home. So that concerns me. But our community has been pretty much very stable the last 20 years. And it's hard. It's hard to stop growth, and it's hard to accept change. But we all feel very disrupted by this process, and especially the homes that border the land. That's a consideration that I don't think was taken in by the developers. That's all I have to say. Oh, there's one other thing.
Hi, this is Donna Amoruso also. And one of the concerns that I had, like Peter had said, is that the flooding, I'm worried that once they start changing the slopes of the land,
Particularly next to our place.
The top of the cul-de-sac is higher. If the water starts flowing down without those trees absorbing the water, it could go right in our house, into our basement, and actually flood out our home. So that's a big concern. And the other concern is, how are the construction trucks going to go up and down these streets for what, a year or who knows how long, going back and forth up and down Sally's Path, huge construction trucks in and out.
Don't interrupt.
Oh, is this not?
Oh, I interrupted you.
Am I not allowed to talk or no?
Just one at a time, please.
Oh, I thought it was Peter and Donna together because we're the same family.
I can only take one speaker at a time, please.
I understand. Sorry. Okay.
So continue your point.
Okay. So should I continue or Peter?
No, you.
Okay. Okay. So I am very concerned with the construction trucks that are going to go up and down the street for, I don't know, about whatever, how long, a year or so. I don't know how big they're going to be. They're going to go right past the home. The noise that goes on for a solid year, at least in my estimating, I guess. And the house that is close to Sally's Path, number 4, you know, one of the driveways, I don't even know how they're going to fit 2 driveways right through that area right there. It looks like they're like right at the edge of where we live. And the house in that property is pushed way close to our home. It's not, it doesn't really look like it's in the middle of that land. It's close, it's pushed close to number 4, Sally's Path. And that's all I need to say.
All right, thank you, Donna.
Thank
have
you.
anything e- Peter, do you have anything else to add?
No, thank you for asking. No, that's pretty much it. You know, it's, this land has been sitting there a long time. So it's just the way it goes. We're neighbors and we are just concerned.
Okay,
So,
thank you
all.
very much. Next person?
Okay, next I have Big Mark. I'm gonna ask him to please give us his name as well and
Good
address.
evening. Sure. Good evening. My name is Mark Tolkien, Tolkin. I live at 5 Yellow Brick Road, Fort Salonga.
Okay, Mark.
Hi. Hello, everybody. I spoke at the last Zoom meeting, and again, this is not something that I like doing because I'm all for everybody making money for their families and progress. In this particular case, you know, I live on that cul-de-sac and that dead end. I've been here my whole adult life. My kids were raised here. Our families all live all over the place over here. There's constantly kids on our street. And when we first moved in over here, there was almost no traffic on our cul-de-sac. And like Chris was saying earlier in this conversation, now there's a lot more. So you can't let your kids even play outside in front of the house like you used to even 10 years ago. Excuse me, 10 years ago. And my biggest concern is, you know, more than the value that we'll probably lose from having these houses here. Now, I know the builder would say you're probably going to gain value because these are going to be beautiful houses. But the thing is, when people want to move to our streets like Sally's Path and Yellow Brick, it was because their cul-de-sacs with only a few houses on them. And now that changes everything. Also, you know, the house that's right near Yellowbrook is really close to our house. It'll be like living in Staten Island. There'll be a house right there. I'm sure there's other ways to fix that. I don't know if they can look into that, but or maybe build less houses there. What's concerning to me is this area, Fort Salonga area that we all love, is we just lost the apple orchard on Meadow Glen. We just lost Owl Hill on Meadow Glen. All of these properties that have been beautiful for a really long time somehow are getting built on. And again, I get it, it's progress, but there has to be some type of pause and say, okay, ladies and gentlemen, that, you know, we have to look out for property. We have to look out for trees, for animals. You know, there's other things more important. And I don't think anybody's really looking at the big picture here. I think the big picture is quality of life. And I think putting houses here is going to ruin the quality of life for all the residents that bought these houses to have a better quality of life. And I don't want to be like the guy on the phone that's a jerk and everything, but I'm telling you right now, it's going to ruin the aesthetic of this whole neighborhood. And just like what's happening up by the apple orchard right up the street, it's a terrible thing, but it just doesn't seem like anybody cares. And that to me is what I don't get. I don't get why nobody cares. Like just the property next to Yellow Brick, you know how many trees you're going to have to cut down? If you just stand at the fence line, there's got to be hundreds of trees that are going to have to come down. Big old trees to build even one house. There's no clearance in that first piece of property. So you'd have to cut down every tree to build the houses there. So, and I just don't see it even with the slopes, how you're going to do the driveway without there being some water problems on my property and my neighbor's property. It just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And that's really all I have to say. I hope that, you know, all our neighbors' comments and my comments and, you know, aren't going to fall on deaf ears. It just seems like for some reason, the progress just seems like more important than life over here for some reason lately. But that's all I really have to say. And I appreciate everybody, you know, listening. And I really hope that you take the time to even come out and look at the property and really see what it is, that it's not just, you know, a subdivisible piece of land that you know, like the builder will never even come back and look at again after they're done. It's there are people that live around here that's going to be affected forever. So I appreciate everybody's time.
All right. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you.
Next person?
Okay, next I have Jean Brown.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Jean, we can.
Oh, okay, thanks. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jean Brown, Brown like the color, Brown. I live at 63 Meadow Glen Road. The last meeting, I believe they discussed, according to zoning laws, that one of the houses would have to be considered low income. And if there could be any clarification about what that actually means, and if they could say which house it is possibly going to be. And my next question is about, we understand that they're going to be leveling lot number 5, house number 5 on lot 5, and it's going to be rebuilt closer to the road. Are there going to be any updates to the existing house on lot 6? Just wanted to know that as well. Also, as a homeowner that is new to the neighborhood and looking to improve our own property, and working through that, knowing it takes some time to get there.
All right. Thank you very much. Next person?
Mr. Chairman, I have no one else with their hands raised or in the chat. I don't know if you want me to give it another second.
Yeah, why don't we just give it a minute, please? Because once it's closed, it's closed.
I'll also remind anybody who's on the phone that wants to speak, they can hit *9 to raise their hand. It's also *6 to unmute. Oh, hang on a second. I have a person in chat. I have a Joanna. I don't know if she wanted to speak. I'm going to ask her to unmute herself. Joanna, did you want to speak, or did you want me to just read your comment for you?
Am I there?
Yes, you're here. Can you give us your
Okay.
full name and spell it in your...
Yes, I'm sorry, I'm on my phone. I wasn't sure it was going to work. I'm at 12 Yellow Brick Road, across the street from Mark, also next.
Could you
I
state
believe
your
lot
last
3,
name?
I'm not sure.
Joanna.
Courier, Currier.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, what was the last name?
Courier, Currier.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Go ahead, Joanna.
Okay. I just want to agree, Chris mentioned a good point about the traffic. This is a double cul-de-sac. If you think about it, the way you come down the street, it splits into the 2 courts, which, believe it or not, creates a significant amount of traffic, since I spend my life on the corner up with 3 kids in 3 different buildings. And the amount of cars coming through from residents who live here, landscapers, pool guys, repairmen, there's a lot of traffic for what is ultimately a cul-de-sac. If you throw 2 more houses in that are going to be very nice homes that are going to have landscapers and pool companies and, contractors and so forth, you're just adding a significant amount of traffic that's not a through street. It's a dead end. There's nowhere to go. So they're going to be turning around in front of my house, where my kids are playing and whatnot. And yes, I did buy here because it's quiet, because there are 200-year-old trees, because we can sit on the patio and watch the hawks fly over our head and see their nests up in the trees. I mean, that's why we live here. We didn't live here because we wanted to be on top of other people or have no trees around us. So it completely changes the ambiance and the quality of the community that we moved to, the community that we chose to live in, why I pay top dollar, why I invest in this home and want to be here. So to say that it doesn't, from somebody who doesn't live in this community and doesn't live in a place with this type of environment, I don't think that they can relate, because that's not what they've chosen. But this is what we have chosen. So between the through traffic, the change in dynamic of the area, and the potential flooding, I have pretty significant concerns myself. And I agree with Mr. Amarusa as well about the location of the homes. They're not exactly centered in the properties to create the greatest distance between homes, which I found kind of strange. And that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. We have anyone else, Joanne? Nicole?
It's okay. No, I have no one's hand up here, and I have no one in the chat.
All right, you want it, we'll just give it another minute before we bring Mr. Tramarko back.
Okay.
Still no one?
There's still nobody. I did have a question from Ricardo who had already spoke, so maybe Mr. Tramarko could just address the question. He just wants to know if you're gonna address the question on the low income housing. I believe it's actually workforce housing that he's asking about. If Mr. Tramarko can also address that, but no one else has their hand up.
Okay, fine. Then we'll bring Mr. Tramarko back.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Well, believe it or not, there was a lot of thought in laying out this subdivision and laying it out where the two cul-de-sacs remain cul-de-sacs, which would alleviate a road that goes through, as I indicated before, and create a tremendous amount of through traffic, which will not be. Now, yes, 4 houses is more than no houses, but again, I want to indicate that the smallest lot in pure area is around 47,000 square feet. An acre is 43,560 square feet. So even our smallest lot is about 3,000 square feet larger than what the requirement is. And if you look around at the tax map, most of the lots in the area that have been developed are about an acre, although yes, there's a couple that are a little larger. So we thought about this, and we thought about putting the road through. And as the planning department said, and Blaze made the comment, this was the most efficient way to develop the property without the loss of more trees than are necessary. And by the way, we don't just go in as builders and cut down trees. We have to, and it's in the future, provide a tree clearing plan. The town of Smithtown, DEW, Department of Environment and Waterways, looks at a plan and personally actually send people out there, and they say you can knock this tree down because you're putting a driveway here, you can take this down because of the house, but you can't take all of these trees down, and we're going to put ribbons around them and make sure that you don't. So it's very much controlled. And, you know, yeah, I guess the wildlife will be affected. However, I don't know that they would leave a place like that, as you're going to have very large properties that are being improved. So nobody is going to clear cut trees. We couldn't do it if we wanted to. It's uneconomical to do it, and the town absolutely would not allow it. There are tremendous fines for unapproved tree cutting. Okay, the question about containment of water. The engineering department in the town of Smithtown scrutinizes every subdivision. Every subdivision and the houses built upon those lots that are created must contain their own water. It is not permissible for a builder to put a house up and let the water run in the street, for argument's sake. So we are in a position where we build a house, we have to have internal, external gutters and leaders. They go into dry wells. They don't go out into, for example, Sally's Path or Yellow Brick Road. They're very strict about it, and very serious. Um, Construction trucks. Yes, there's going to be construction trucks, and they'll be there for however long it takes to do the subdivision. However, any damages caused to the road, the town will make the builder repair. As a matter of fact, the town even requires a bond that the builder must put up in order for him to do any public improvements. And I suspect that Sally's Path and Yellow Brick Road cul-de-sac will be part of that bond. The workforce housing, it's not low-income housing. It's called workforce housing, and it is a state law. It has provisions that have been in effect, I guess, for maybe 10 or 12 years. And basically, we could do one or two things. We can, oh, by the way, the two houses that exist are not going to exist the way they exist right now. They will be completely renovated. I'm not sure whether we're going to move one house up further or not, but notwithstanding that, they will be renovated and completely redone. So we wouldn't go in there and build more than $1 million sale houses and not correct or fix the older houses that exist on the property. It just doesn't make economic sense. So anyway, the workforce housing could be one of those houses, or we could buy a property somewhere else and build a workforce house. The price of the house is governed by law. It has nothing to do with how much the builder wants to charge. And I haven't done one in a couple of years, but um, the person that buys a workforce house, first of all, it's a lottery, and the town has a lottery for, I believe, first home buyers, probably, you know, young buyers, and they could be like apprentice electricians, carpenters, you know, office workers that are on the low side of the income level as they're working up, you know, like we all did. So it's a controlled price, and I'm not sure what the price would be, but also the person that wins the lottery and buys the house cannot turn around and sell it for a big profit. There are covenants that are placed on the house that says, yeah, you could sell it next year if you want, but you can only make a very small amount. And that was done obviously so that speculators don't come in and take their chances with a lottery and get a house that is really meant for basically, I guess, first home buyers. So it's I guess you could say, yeah, the people that have to qualify, but their incomes aren't as low as you might think. I think a family has to have at least an income of well over 100,000 to qualify, because don't forget, you still have to get a mortgage, and you still have to pay taxes in the town of Smithtown, which we all know aren't cheap. So we understand your concerns, and believe me, we put a lot of thought in how we would do this project, and we hope that during the course of our construction of the project, that if you have concerns, you'll come to the builder and talk to him, and we'd be happy to discuss things with you, including the house closest, I think it's to Sally's Path. And I can see on the map there that it looks a little close. I'm not sure. I think the building envelope is a lot bigger, and maybe I'm not the builder, obviously, but maybe that house could be pushed further southeast. So again, we want to work with the people. We do intend to build beautiful, expensive houses. So I don't think your property values are going to decrease. They will hopefully increase. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tramarko. Can I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved.
Second. Motion has been made, excuse me, to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Thank you and good night.
Night.
The next case on the agenda is case number 18484. Diverse Equity Solutions LLC, 49 Upper Dock Road, Kings Park. The location of the property is the north side of Upper Dock Road and the south side of Old Dock Road. It has 2 road frontages. The property is zoned R10. The applicant is requesting variances to permit environmentally sensitive lands to be altered, steep slopes greater than 15%, to permit structures within 10 feet of any slope greater than 25%, or within the flood hazard zone, to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 feet to 19 feet, to reduce the minimum side yard from 12 feet to 7 feet, reduce the total side yards from 28 feet to 17 feet, or proposed 654 square foot second story addition. A proposed 110 square foot roof deck and a proposed 194 square foot front porch addition, adding to a lawful non-conforming structure.
Can I have the applicant, please?
Yes, good evening. My name is Eric Dealman. I'm here with my wife, Sandra Dealman. I'm also joined by Chris Wall and Kevin Ream, who are representing us on this property, and I will defer to them at this moment in time. Thank you.
Eric, can you just state your name, spell your last name, give your address for the record, please?
Yeah, I apologize. Eric Dealman, Dielmann, 49 Upper Dock Road, Kings Park, New York, 11754.
Okay. And now the people that are going to represent you are?
Ream. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, Kevin Ream and Chris Wall from Wall Build and Design.
All right. Kevin and Chris, again, state your name, spell your last name so we get it correct on the record, and give your address, please.
Yep. Kevin, last name Ream, R-E-I-M. Address is 10 Country Oaks Drive in Kings Park.
Okay. Is your partner there?
Yeah, Chris.
Christopher Wall, W-A-H-L, 10 Country Oaks Drive, Kings Park, New York.
All right, thank you. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. As stated by Blaze, we're proposing a front covered porch in the front of the house, which is going to reduce the minimum front yard from 40 to 19 feet. Currently, the front yard of the house is 26.7, so it's not much of an increase for the variance. The reason we're requesting that is we're just trying to get a normal front entrance to the house. We have a side entry to the front, to the entrance of the actual house. Regarding the side yard setback, the property width is only 48 feet. So with the proposed roof deck, we are installing a staircase. So, we're not encroaching livable space. It's just a staircase that's going to be, that's going to encroach on the side yard with no cover. If the variance would produce an impact on adjacent properties, no, because again, the only side yard, the only encroachment we're going to have is the staircase, and that side of the property is vacant land. There's nothing there right now. It's just someone's yard at the time. Yep. The request is not substantial because we're not changing the use of the proposed existing house. We're not increasing livable, footprint or anything like that. Again, it's just a staircase and a covered porch. This benefit cannot be achieved anyway because of where the house is located. Back towards Upper Dock Road. The width of the property is only 48 feet, so the staircase is going to encroach on the side yard setback, and the property is already in existing nonconformity. The variance would not have an adverse effect on the environment because we're actually going to auger the footings for the staircase instead of excavating them. It's just we want to just try and disturb the soil as little as possible over there because it is a 30% slope increase where we are installing the staircase. So we're just trying to be environmentally impactful over there. And the difficulty was not self-created as the work has not yet commenced.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone on the board that has any questions on this application?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Planning?
No, thank you.
No. Is there anyone in the audience that'd like to be heard on this application?
Yes, Chairman, I have two people on the phone with their hands raised. I just want to remind, I see one individual has unmuted themselves. I don't have their name, so if they could just state their name and spell it and address. And also for the other individual, which is 631-460-4173. If you need to hit the unmute button after the first individual speaks, just hit *6. First person is phone number 631-269-9887.
Okay.
Yes. Do you hear
Hello?
me?
Hello?
Do you hear me? Hello?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes, my name is Lucille Romanowski, Romanasky. I live at 750 Old Dock Road. I am at the bottom of what he is building. At this point, that house already towers over my property, which they're saying is vacant property. That's my property. And I mean, I already have no privacy and can never get privacy from this house. I'm a little concerned with him with altering the sensitive lands. I already get a lot of water. I'm concerned my retaining walls are not going to hold more weight on that hill. And I can't afford to be putting more or new retaining walls in there. I mean, I am opposed to it. Not like that's going to matter, but I do hope the board listens and makes sure this is done right if it is done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Next person?
What the hell is going on?
Okay, the next person is, again, on a telephone, it's 631-460-4173. You got to hit *6 to unmute, and please introduce yourself and spell your full name and give us your address. Just waiting for them to hit the unmute button here. Again, all you have to do is press *6 for unmute. There we go.
Okay. Hello. Okay, that's better, right?
Yep.
Can you hear me? Yes. Hello, everyone. My name's Christine Nigro. I live at 733 Old Dock Road. I'm the little house on the other side of the property, down. My main concern is just that the house is very high up, and if it gives way, my house is as everything comes down, my house is going to go with it. Already, I had trees fall on the house, and I'm a little skittish at what could happen again in a bad storm. So I just like to put that down on record.
Okay, Chris. Anything else?
no, because this is a little over my head. It's just when I bought the house, it was a little house. It was a little farm. It looked like a little house in a farming, a little fishing village. And now I have this big house next to me, and it's just my main concern is my safety, because I was inside the house when 3 trees fell on my roof, and I still haven't gotten that out of my system. Every time the wind blows, I'm afraid it's going to happen again. So I'm just concerned about what might happen if the hill gives way, because I assume he's going to put more weight on the house, and if that makes any sense.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, can I get the spelling of her name, please?
Oh, yes. Christine Nigro. Last name is Nigro.
Thank you.
Anything else, Christine, or is that it?
No, sir. I've taken up enough time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Would you like to answer some of their concerns?
Yes, absolutely. Chris is going to take over.
Good evening, board. I just want to respond to both questions. The first referencing environmental sensitive areas and rainwater runoff and such. Kevin had mentioned our plan for these footings, because of the slope there, is to auger piers versus digging for a footing and traditional footing and wall setup. So we will be augering an 18-inch footing in and only disturbing the immediate soil where those piers will be installed. So as far as runoff, there won't be any damage to the surface soil there. There won't be any residual soil piled up and necessarily moved around. What comes out of the augered hole will be removed from the site, but still holding the topsoil level intact.
I'm sorry. Will be removed from the site and still holding. Can that person mute themselves?
How do I do that?
I just muted them.
Thank you.
Good to go?
Yes,
Yep,
thank
good to
you.
go.
So in theory, the topsoil layer will be as non-disturbed as possible in order, again, to avoid a typical excavation for a footing. Secondly, as far as rain runoff, the only additional roof area that we're adding to this house is going to be over the front porch, where we don't have a slope issue. The building department will force us to collect that rainwater because we're adding that additionally. The second story addition is over the existing roof. So in theory, just substituting the existing roof area and moving it up. To answer question number 2, I do understand that the house appears large when looking at it from Old Dock Road, but it is a 1-story house. It has a larger appearance, obviously, from one side of the street to the other, and as the board saw in the photographs there, it currently is only a 1-story. Basement is just exposed, so again, giving the appearance of a much larger house. As far as the trees that had come down in the past, those were not related to any type of construction or anything like that. That was storm damage, so that's kind of unrelated to what we have going on here, as well as the concerns of a collapse affecting that home. If you look at the map, you'll see 733 Old Dock is in fact not even close to being in line with downhill of this home. So no collapse or structural give or any issue there would immediately affect that home. Not that we anticipate that to ever happen, but it's not possible for one to affect the other. So I just wanted to share those thoughts.
All right, thank you.
Excuse me, as the applicant, I'd like to share something too, as far as addressing the issue with runoff and retaining walls and things that were brought up. Phase 1 of this is the construction. Phase 2 is actually putting in, a rock wall down there so that it doesn't move. So that's something we have on the plan as well.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, should I have a motion to close the application, please?
So moved. Second?
Motion has been made to close the application. It's been seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you and good night.
Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
And that concludes our hearing for tonight.